Okay, because I have an extra bag.
What do you have? Never turn down the blink.
Yeah.
Do you need a full story sentence?
So cars.
Here we go.
I don't think so, but just to give you a heads up, we're not self-examination this year. Next year and the year after, Bob said. So I'm going to strike this one from the agenda.
I did.
Where's John? I hope John doesn't think the meeting starts at 7. Ken, I have to go give John a call. He's not here.
Okay. Are we live here yet?
Yeah.
Well, the sound system's on, but
Not here yet?
the mic is off on here, but Go Live is on.
Oh, that gives me an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, one and all.
Hello.
Sorry I'm late.
You're actually on time.
I am? Well, then I'll save that apology for the next
You're
time.
not on time for Leela and Anna, but you're on time.
All right, I'm going to bank that apology.
Oh, no, my Apple Watch said 6:31.
Oh, okay. You're going to cat bank that?
Speaking of budgets and cap banks. Oh, man, I'm going to get his chair. No.
77.
Okay, we all set?
One second.
This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of May 9th, 2023, with instructions for internet access, was included in a meeting notice sent to Burlington County Times and Courier Post on January 4th, 2023, and advertised in said newspapers on January 6th, 2023, and January 10th, 2023, respectively, and posted on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building on January 4th, 2023, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My name is Ken Montgomery. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Hainsport Township, and I am standing in for Mayor Klaus as he has some personal obligations that he has to attend to, and will make him unavailable this evening. So I guess we can start with the roll call, please, Tara.
Okay, Mr. Montgomery?
Here?
Mr. Levinson?
Here.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Here.
Mrs. Evans?
Here.
We have the minutes. If there's no discussion, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes?
Seconded.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. And we'll move on to reports. The tax collector.
I make a motion to approve the reports.
Second the motion?
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. And today we have a discussion and presentation on our 100th anniversary logo contest, and I'd like to ask Ms. Paula Costco to give us the presentation. Is this something that's on the screen behind you?
No,
Or is you were
that's-
just discussing this?
This is just for discussion.
Very good.
The-
Okay,
the-
great.
The board behind me is for the budget presentation.
Very good.
So, as most people know, we are getting prepared to celebrate our 100th anniversary next year. And there has been a committee that has been convening for quite some time. And something that has been on my mind, and basically it's a strategy that most marketing companies use and other private entities as well as public entities, is to start branding the 100th anniversary. So on our literature, on our website, on our mobile app, our letterhead, our emails from the municipal employees and officials. So I thought it would be a good idea to start thinking about how are we going to say it's our 100th anniversary. And through some support from a 100th anniversary committee, as well as Committeewoman Evans, this competition guidelines has been put together. And some of the eligibility criteria to do the 100th anniversary logo contest would be open to Hainsport residents only, not available to Township Committee members or their immediate family. Contestants are permitted to work in groups, however, only one prize would be awarded. And this is a contest that ranges for everybody in the community. We like to engage the school, our students in this project, college students, any resident of Hainsport Township to submit a 100th anniversary logo for the governing body's review as well as the 100th anniversary committee's review. So it would be vetted by both entities. There are submission guidelines. We'd like to open it up beginning May 15th, close it up July 16th, which would give us a little bit less than a year to be able to make a decision and then start utilizing that logo for all of our documents. We will set up an email address here at the township for submissions to be received. Again, there are other guidelines and parameters. It's pretty in-depth. Some intellectual property clauses, how the determination of the winner and the prize will be handled, as well as a disclaimer. So the committee has had this. Hopefully you had a chance to review it. Welcome any ideas or suggestions, but upon my review and Mrs. Evans putting it together, I'd like to be able to take it to the 100th anniversary group and make sure that they are comfortable with it and get it going.
Great work. Great work, thank you. Any discussion?
And they meet on the 24th.
It is the 24th? Okay.
24th of this month?
Correct. Okay.
I had one thing, if no one else did. The bottom of the first page, it says, the logo's design should reflect the values and history of Hainsport. Perfect. Some of that's more subjective than objective, but that's okay. And then it says the logo should in parentheses, not required, incorporate the township name, Hainsport, and make it clear it is for the 100. Is there a reason why we're not requiring Hainsport to be included in that?
Because I think it's going to be used in conjunction with
Letter.
letterhead, labels. Oh, sorry. This is how people commute themselves.
Somebody disagreed.
Sorry.
Or maybe they were for it, who knows, you never know.
It's hard to manage this at the same time. Oh, wait, I have to mute them again. Okay, they did it themselves. Because generally, it's going to be used in conjunction with already Hainsport Township letterhead, Hainsport Township emails.
Okay.
There's also an opportunity, if we can get our new rebranding up and running, we can make a final decision on that. It would be nice if we can maybe get some signs put up around Hainsport, some nice welcome to Hainsport signs, and we could put maybe a temporary 100th anniversary connected to our municipal signage that we lack here in the town.
Okay, so it could be used in already where Hainsport is used, and it says should, it's not must.
It's not
So we can decide. I also noticed that, that there is some liberties to be taken with, if we like something, but we want to add something or change something, we could. So if we decide later on that we want to plug in that name, we could, I assume, from reading it. Okay. Okay, thank you. Great work.
Is it possible to start the contest on the 15th if the committee doesn't meet till the 24th?
Maybe we should move that to start on the 25th.
Okay. Run the 25th to the 26th instead of the 15th, 16th.
Do we need to approve it? Do we need to approve this, I guess, as something?
I think a motion to adopt these as your guidelines, because you're going to start this in a couple of weeks.
Okay, okay, all right. So then may I have a motion?
So move.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. And then, so then the next question is that if we do this, then we have to have it after the second meeting because it needs to be approved? Needs to be finalized, or is there a reason we need to have it after the meeting?
It would be after the 100th anniversary committee meets. And
After not this meeting, the 100th anniversary committee. That makes good sense. Yes, perfect. Okay. Very good. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next subject with property along Route 38 at Block 72.01, the existing mobile park in need of rehabilitation. Ms.
So-
John?
Members of the committee, this is a slight departure from past practice where it's been referred to the planning board to undertake a study. The statute doesn't necessarily require that, doesn't require it for a rehabilitation designation. It does, however, require that before you adopt a resolution, that resolution goes before the planning board for a determination of whether they wish to make any comments or suggestions or modify it. But your resolution, that's what's in front of you, you're not going to vote on this tonight, right? But you are going to vote to refer it to the planning board, hopefully. And then the planning board will meet, they'll look at it, they'll have their discussion, and they'll refer it back to you either as is or with their suggestions, right? And you'll discuss that at the June meeting. And if you wish to adopt if they want to make recommendations and you wish to adopt them, we'll just plug them into the resolution that night, and you would move to adopt the resolution with those changes. The bottom line is that this property, these folks came to the Economic Development Committee back in February. They have been buying up mobile home parks. They have one in Vineland, they have one in Cherry Hill, they have one in Pennsauken, and they bought the one in Hainsport. And it is their desire and their goal to invest not only in abandoned mobile homes in the park, but to create new occupancy for vacant lots, and in this case, to add 10 more to the 24 that they currently have. And among the many discussions we had with them were, the quality of the product, and, manufactured homes have come so far, right, so far. But yet they're very affordable, more so in some cases than new homes would be. So it creates an opportunity. We've talked to them about whether they would be willing to place affordable housing restrictions on a few, 2, 3, maybe 4. They're very open to that discussion. Sort of the onus is on us to figure out how to do that. It can be done, it's just not done that often. In adopting the resolution, if you look on page 2, we've identified 3 of the criteria for you that we believe satisfies the statutory bases upon which to declare an area in need of rehabilitation. It's not as extensive or dramatic a process as an area in need of redevelopment. So there are, I think, 6 or 7 criteria, and these are the 3. So when you look at the photographs, you can clearly see that a number of parcels and homes are, in substandard condition, could use facelift and use some additional help. More than half, they've provided us with documentation that more than half of the trailers, mobile homes, are more than 50 years old. So that meets that, and you only have to meet 1 criteria. You don't have to meet more than 1. But in this case, it does seem to meet 3 of these criteria. And I do think that, almost 30% are either vacant or abandoned. That's an underutilization.
What was the percentage, John? Sorry?
29.17, say 30%.
Okay, almost 30, right? Yeah.
Between current vacant mobile homes and unoccupied lots, vacant lots, right? It's almost 30%. There is no formula in the statute as to what qualifies as underutilized. You can reach that conclusion on your own. Having done a lot of this, I can just tell you, not that my vote counts, I don't vote, but it certainly seems to me that where 30% of a community has been vacant or abandoned for as long as these have been, that's underutilization.
So that would be 7.5 units that are underutilized.
At
I
least,
think it's 7 out of 24.
at
Okay.
least. I've knocked on doors.
If that 29.17% is not what 7 out of 24 is, then I blame it on my calculator.
I don't know who Kay is. If they could please keep themselves muted.
Can I?
For those online, if you could please keep your microphone muted, please. Appreciate it. We're getting some feedback. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I visited this mobile home park when I was working for the census in 2020, in the summer of 2020, and it is seriously in need of some care and attention.
Okay. That's
I actually know somebody who lives there as well, personally, and takes great pride in her home. She owns it. She pays rent for the property, and that's something that, to Anna's point, and I'm assuming to what you two are referring to, definitely is in need of some work. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Just so you know, one of the reasons that we couldn't declare it to be an area in need of redevelopment is that they've already invested a fair amount of money in infrastructure. And so, just looking at the statute, I think we might be stretching it if we went down that road. But clearly, under the rehab statute, if you agree with these 3 on page 2, then it qualifies. So if you're comfortable with this, I would ask that someone make a motion to refer this to the planning board in accordance with the statute and ask them to report back to you in time for the June meeting.
And is there a time, before we do that, is there a time limit, John, for these people to move forward with it? Is it?
That's one of the reasons we're skipping the study. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to overstate it, but I think the situation is fairly obvious, and go back to Anna's point. It doesn't take a whole lot to walk through there and say, this probably qualifies. And then once you get the statistics that we received, I think that's just confirmation that it does.
I was there, I said, a friend of mine lives there. I was there a few weeks ago.
So they would like to get it going. So
Yeah,
if we can
okay.
get it back, if you could adopt it in June, that would be very helpful to the process.
So the rehabilitation portion of this entitles the owners to low-rate loans? Is that what?
No, it's got nothing to do with that. I mean, we
Okay.
have not talked to them about a pilot, or even because you're only eligible for 5-year, and we haven't really broached that issue. Frankly, depending upon how much they're going to put into it, it's not a bad idea to talk about it, because it is incentivization to use private capital to make this a better community. But it goes towards our ability to even have that discussion. If you don't declare it to be an area in need of rehabilitation, you can't even have that discussion, right? And it also doesn't put us in a position where we could have a good faith discussion about deed restricting some of those lots for affordable housing.
Okay, well, with that, if we could get a motion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Paula. So with that, we will go to comments from the public, and these comments are for agenda items only. And again, we'd ask that you please keep your comments to 5 minutes, please. Anyone? Well, sir, please come forward and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Bill Slocum. I live 24 Easton Way in Hainesport. Longtime Hainesport resident. Been a resident for 30 years. The first thing I want to do is just thank the members of the committee for your time and your efforts for our community. I think Hainsport's a great place to live, and I think a lot of that has to do with the excellent leadership that we've had, through the years. I also want to thank...
I just want to stop you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Certainly.
On behalf of everyone.
Certainly. I also wanted to thank the committee for their support of Resolution 2023-63-4, which has to do with the reduction in aid to the Hainesport School District. I worked in public education for 39 years. I'm retired now, which I'm enjoying. But, I worked for 39 years, and during that period of time, there were times where there were reductions in state aid, and it really had significant impact on the students, on the staff, on facilities, the teachers. So the impact was significant. So when I saw that this committee supported that resolution, I just wanted to come out tonight and thank you for that. I think we really need to send a strong message to Governor Murphy regarding this issue. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone else? Okay, with that, we get a motion to close.
Make a motion to close?
Second.
Yep.
I guess I
All in
really,
favor?
do I even need to make a motion for this and just close it? Okay, I'm sorry. It won't be too formal. Okay. So we go to ordinances. First one. And for these right here, we need to address each one separately, John?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So ordinance 2023-3, amending Chapter 104, Section 3.3 of the Code of the Township of Hainesport, entitled General Provisions. Public hearing and final adoption. So
Motion to open it to the public would be in
Yeah,
order.
so you get a motion to open to public comment, please?
So
Motion.
moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Any?
Aye.
Any comments from the public? Once, twice, 3 times? Thank you. Is there anyone online who would like to make any comments on ordinance 2023-3? Okay. Do I need a motion to close that?
Yes.
Okay. A motion to close to move forward?
I'll second that. Are you making the motion? Because I'll second that motion.
So moved.
All right, very good.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Ordinance 2023-4, authorizing and approving a temporary...
Wait a minute.
Whoop.
You didn't make the motion to...
You need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Oh, sorry. That was to close the, sorry about
A
that.
motion to adopt 2023-3.
We get a motion to approve ordinance 2023-3, please?
So moved?
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Now we go to ordinance 2023-4, authorizing and approving a temporary access easement agreement with PMS 2 LLC for a portion of property currently known as Block 100, lots 10 and 11. This is the public hearing and final adoption. I'm going to open it up, motion for public comment.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comment on ordinance 2023-4. Anyone online? Okay. We make a motion to close.
Motion to
So moved.
close?
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Get a motion to approve 2023-4.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. And then we go to ordinance 2023-5 to release, vacate, and extinguish any and all public rights to a portion of Maryland Avenue. This is the first reading and an introduction. The public hearing and final adoption will be June 13th, 2023. So we just need a motion to approve that,
On first reading.
the first reading and introduction.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Move on to consent agenda resolutions, and these basically, if there's any discussion, will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. If not, we're going to consider them all in one shot. So resolutions 2023-64-5 through then 655, resolution 2023-66-5, 2023-67-5, 23-68-5, 69-5, 2023-75-5. Any discussion? Can we get a motion to approve all the above?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Resolutions. So Resolution 2023-70-5, authorizing revised contract for professional services for EPA Brownfields Cleanup Grant Support Services. Any discussion on this?
You want me to explain?
Yeah.
Okay, as everybody knows, we received $500,000 EPA grant to conduct an actual cleanup of the property formerly known as Paul's Tank Farm. Prior to that actual cleanup, we need to conduct some due diligence. We need to do a preliminary assessment. We need to do a phase 1, phase 2. We had hoped that we were going to be able to utilize some of the phase 1 data that was collected by the previous LSRP some 10 years ago when there was a cleanup done then. Unfortunately, that is not acceptable by the state. So the cleanup, the PA and the phase 1, we submitted a grant through the HDSRF, New Jersey DEP funding source, to help fund the pre-work that needs to be done. The state is not accepting that prior data, so unfortunately, the scope that you previously authorized of work to be done needs to be expanded because the new data needs to be collected, tested, and put in place. So it's an increase from $22,000 to $36,860 for that particular contract. So in a sense, it's a change order for an increase. And there is funding available for that in our budget.
And we're using the same people to do this? Is it the same, or has it changed over the years, I would imagine, no?
It's a new, you all awarded the contract to a new LSRP.
Okay,
Yes. BRS Incorporated.
okay.
It's the same.
So I guess we,
And the grant covers.
any other comments, questions? Okay. Need a motion to approve this, then?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
And if I may make a request to add a resolution to tonight's agenda?
Well, I guess so.
Sorry.
You and I talked about it already.
Okay, so this is an annual resolution. I just received this request from the administrator clerk from East Hampton, who manages the RCASA program, which is the Rancocas Community Alliance Against Substance Abuse. And that is the sending district, the 5 communities who collaborate to bring this grant funding to life through various programs. Generally, the majority of it does go to high school, programs that are implemented in the high school. But this is our annual resolution to adopt. You all approved the 5-year plan in 2020, but each year you need to approve the annual budget. And our allocation is quite minimal. It is included in our budget every year. I believe our in-kind contribution is less than $1,000. So it's
So
resolution.
this is the 5 sending districts to RV, and
They're all-
with
yep.
those schools, and then Rancocas
They're all,
Valley
well,
High School.
every township is doing this, and
Right.
every town has, those 5 towns have the same exact resolution they're passing this month.
Just wanted to
Next month.
clarify for the notes, so we have a motion to add this to the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. So now we need a motion to approve and adopt this resolution.
So moved?
Second.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Okay, and now we move on to the budget. Bum, bum, bum. We have a presentation,
Is there another resolution?
and Paula, who is going to be speaking with you?
So thank you. We have our municipal auditor, Bob Nahila, here, as well as our, Bob Nahila, and our CFO, Dawn Gorman.
We're not forgetting another resolution, or we're going to do that afterwards?
Well, I was going to give my presentation first. Sure. But yes, we do need to remove Resolution 2023-71-5. This is not the year for us to self-examine our budget, but the state has actually already approved our introduced budget.
So just to clean up the agenda,
Yep.
would someone therefore make a motion to remove 71-5 from the agenda?
I'll make a motion to remove motion, was that 75 what?
71-5.
71-5 from our agenda?
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Thank you.
Need to lower the lights, or?
It's not waking up.
Bob and Dawn, thank you for coming here to talk to us about all this. Appreciate your input. And the hard work behind it, right? Looks like it's off.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, no, it's on. I can see it on now.
Wow.
All right.
Of course, it worked before. There you go.
I'll make this presentation available online after tonight's meeting. Okay. All right, so I'm going to kind of walk backwards. We're going to deconstruct the budget. We're going to start out with our total operating budget for this year is $4.8 million, less our anticipated revenues of $2.2 million. So our 2023 municipal levy, or the amount to be raised by taxation, is $2,665,241. And here we see a pie chart of how our budget is broken out. We have our salaries and wages, but then of course our operating expenses are our largest portion of our budget. There's also $985,000 allocated for capital improvements this year. There's also a $105,000 allocation for the Hainesport Board of Education, should they make a formal request for any funds this year. And again, that is out of the second year of the pilot program from Hainesport Commerce Center. And this is just a little bit of an overview of our statutory expenditures, which are subject to the CAPS law. And as you recall, you all do pass an ordinance each year to increase the cap to 3.5% should we need it. But then we have statutory expenditures that we have to stay within that 3.5% increase. So some of those items include PERS, Social Security, as well as some deferred charges, DCRP, unemployment. You know, I just realized 2023 was cut off. Apologies. Next, we have general operations that are not subject to that the cap law. Generally, these are grant programs. We know already that we received a $226,000 DOT grant, and again, that is to resurface Pulaski Avenue, Laurel Ridge Road, and Fenimore Road. We expect that to be done in the fall, and we're currently working on Arc Road. We expect that to be done within the next couple months. And some other grants, there's that $720 for the Arcasa grant, that's our in-kind match. $85,000 for our shared service agreement for construction services with West Hampton Township. And again, that HDSRF program for the Finer property, but we also have funding for the never-ending Hitco property. And then this is a really good slide. I really love seeing this one. There's nothing there for municipal debt and deferred charges for 2023. All right. Again, $985,000 allocated for capital projects. Creek Turn Park improvements. This capital program dedicates $250,000 for Phase 1 of the Creek Turn Park. It also includes funds for the Municipal Park Hockey Rink resurfacing and all of the sideboards to be replaced, as well as the Chase basketball court resurfacing. It adds an additional $100,000 in the capital improvement program for a rescue fire engine, which brings us up to $200,000 for a future down payment for a fire truck. It includes funding for a bucket truck, as well as an electric vehicle charge station for here at the municipal building. And then continued renovations and improvements to the street community center. Again, some more budget highlights for this year's budget. $105,000 earmark for the school district. It uses $100,000 of fund balance to, $1 million. Thank you, John. $1 million of fund balance. This is a fiscally responsible amount to utilize as it positions the township for continued financial stability. This year's budget does not need to use its available cap bank for 2023. The modest increase from last year's budget is $57,712, which represents 2.2%. Again, we must continue to plan for a volatile economy. Fuel surcharges, increased costs on commodities, and rising inflation are very important things that we have to be mindful of in looking forward. And also something to highlight, there is a $668,000 decrease in revenues this year. So again, the 2023 amount to be raised by taxes for municipal purposes only is $2,665,041. So the average home assessed at $280,531 would see an increase in municipal taxes of $9.49 for the year, or 79 cents a month. And again, and I will never stop saying this, Hainsport Township is now debt-free. And it is an accomplishment that not many municipalities can say that they have. So this is just a broader snapshot of all of the taxing entities. Right now, obviously, they're estimated levies for the schools as well as the county. And our open space tax is on there. So in totality, the amount anticipated to be raised for all the public entities is almost $21 million.
Paul, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you said that they're, some of them are estimated. For the total general appropriation where it says the local school right at the top, which ones are firm and which ones are still, I guess where it says estimated, that's where they're, well, they're all estimated. So none of them are firm at this point.
Correct.
Okay. And what are we basing this on? What's the?
That's Bob, our auditor, gives us those numbers. Maybe he can explain where they come from or how they're derived.
What we do is, if you saw the spreadsheet, off to the side, there would be a column for what was the tax rate for these various entities for 2022. And we'll anticipate some type of tax increase that they're going to pass along to us. Keep in mind, whatever they levy, we have to pay 100%. So that's why I will overestimate maybe a little bit, because if we underestimate, we're paying them 100% of it. So if we miss the mark, we're giving them whatever they ask for.
Right.
So yeah, we put like a modest percent tax rate. We usually target a 5-cent tax increase.
But the Hainsport School looks like it's less. Unless that's a typo. Unless I'm reading it wrong.
Less than the previous year.
Well, also, you got to keep in mind, the way the tax rate is generated is with the net valuation taxables just above the yellow. So we could have a decrease from last year, which was an estimate. The actual came in much lower, so we just adjusted the estimate this year.
Right, and as our CFO, Dawn, pointed out in her summary, there is the net valuation taxable increased for Hainsport Township by $9.2 million. So obviously, that gets spread out over the whole tax base. So that affects those numbers, is what Bob was saying. Am I correct? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
But when the tax bill comes out, it's with the real numbers.
Right.
We're not just guessing.
Right, because we don't do estimated billing here.
Right.
We don't do estimated billing. There are towns that, I know that there are towns that do estimated
Right.
billing because they cannot wait for that tax payment
They have
to
no
be
cash
deferred.
flow, yeah.
Right, they need that cash flow to operate.
Well, if we have to wait too long, we might have to, but
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be in time and we wouldn't have to. Right.
Because we have sound financial policies in place, we don't need to do that.
Here, here.
Hear, hear. And I also just want to point out, a lot of residents don't realize this. So although our tax collection rate was phenomenal last year, that we have to anticipate uncollected taxes, and that needs to be paid even if we don't collect them. So that anticipated uncollected taxes is a budget item.
Yeah. So while our taxpayers can be delinquent and not pay right away, we have to pay 100% right up front to Burlington County and also the schools.
Correct.
We get no delinquent Hainesport Township leeway.
No.
Yeah. So we have to be prepared for that and have money in the budget to pay that.
Correct.
Okay.
Can I ask what the main source of the $669,000 decrease in revenues was? From the previous slide, I think.
I don't have that information.
Part of the grant is in there.
Grants may have been part of that.
Right.
I believe that there are other items, but I don't have all of that in front of me.
I thought there was some.
Could have been the ARP money, ARP funding that we are not going to receive, right?
Right.
How much, John?
The American Rescue Plan was 680 last year, and then the question is why we're so much lower this year. If you look at that was just an explosive.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense.
And the way that we brought it in as one lump sum last year.
Right.
But that's an implication on the budget and decisions as well, because we can't anticipate that.
Right.
Okay, so it's just some different ways to look at the allocation. This is our rates as proposed, as well as the estimated rates of the other entities. And this is by dollar value.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see when we can get rid of those words estimate there to get a real feeling of, because basically we're all paying, right? We have to pay what it's going to be, and as you can see in this right here, is my next thing, it's less than 13% that we're collecting for the township itself. So it's when we get all the other numbers from the schools and the county, et cetera, is what we all, as residents, as every town does, has to pay for that. So.
Well, so I will update these once
Sure.
all of
Oh,
these
yeah.
entities strike their rates. And this is published on the website.
Yes.
For the past 5 or 6 years, these charts, and I have them up on the bulletin board as well.
Well, was there also a 0.5% increase in the open space tax passed down to us?
I believe, are you talking about the county?
Yes.
Open space?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, there was a 3-cent open space tax by the county, and some years ago, they reduced that to 2%. They also discontinued the Municipal Park Development Grant Program. They discontinued that, I believe, in 2019. So I think they're now re-implementing that 1 cent that they decreased, and they're putting it back to 3 cents.
Okay. And that's passed down to Hainesport, we have to pay that.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
And the other 39 municipalities.
right.
But maybe they'll bring the grant program back. But maybe they'll bring the grant program back.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, and again, so you see where our levy percentage is in comparison to the others. And then this is Bob's dollar bill that we all love so much. Just another representation.
The $100 bill, right.
Inflation.
And then finally, we are looking forward to sharing with you our secret project at Creek Turn Park.
Bum,
Not yet.
bum, bum.
We're not ready yet. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you very much for that.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? Okay, so I need to pass a motion to approve the resolution for the budget to be read by title only first. Do I do that first?
Yes, 72-5.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2023-72-5 to authorize the budget to be read by title only, please?
Make a motion?
Second?
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Okay, so now we go to a public hearing on 2023. I need to make a motion to open it up to public, please.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So if anyone has any comments, please come up and give us your name and your street address, please. I'm going to ask your comments to be for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you. Deborah Harris, 7 Elsinore Drive. So I was actually at the School Board of Education meeting last week when they presented their budget. As I recall correctly, it's a little bit more than your estimate. It's something like 10.6. They're estimating or proposing a tax increase of 5%, which equates to roughly $10.68, rounds it up to $11. So that's their proposal. They currently have a shortfall of, I think, about 105,000 and change. And Paul, I think you had it up there on like your pie chart and a couple of other places. So one of the questions that I had for the school board was whether or not a request had been made to the township to have that shortfall covered by the township for the 23-24 calendar year. The response from the superintendent was that discussions had been initiated with the town and to refer my question formally to the town. So as a parent with a child who's in kindergarten and basically just starting her education and hearing about some of the things, the sacrifices that the school has already made. For example, one of the teams is currently playing all of their games at home, and the other townships are accommodating that so that one of the other teams can travel and they won't take a double hit to the travel budget. So a lot of sacrifices are already being made, so I put this question officially to the township. I see that the money has been allocated, but has there been a request from the school? It was indicated that potentially there was not. And if there is one from the school, will the township be officially releasing the funds to cover that shortfall? My last comment is that, again, for this year, myself, along with my running mate, Bob Mode, will be running for Hainesport Township Committee, and we're both looking forward to a very positive campaign. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Because this is comments on the budget. Comments.
This is comments on the budget, remember?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Budget-related. Anyone online that has comments on the 2023 budget? Once, twice, 3 times? Okay. We have a motion to close.
Motion to close?
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Because we're having the public hearing and the comment, and no one else online, I'm going to Resolution 2023-73-5 to adopt the 2023 budget. Give a motion?
To adopt.
Second.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. So moved. And we're going to business to approve of business licenses.
I'll make a motion to approve business licenses.
I'll second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. And now we have comments from the public. Again, this is on anything your little heart desires to talk about. And again, we'd ask that you please keep them to 5 minutes. Anyone?
Just regular public comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Catherine McNellis, 407 Bischoff Avenue. I just wanted to let you know that Donna Casey did clean the closet out that we needed for our stuff for the yard sale. Although we never heard anything from the township, I thought I would hear from the mayor or the administrator exactly what was going on, because I had a lot of questions at the last meeting. So,
It's my understanding that Mayor Klaus did have a conversation with you. He met with you. Mayor Klaus stated that he did meet with you.
who?
Mayor Klaus stated that he did meet with you. Yes.
Mayor Jerry Klaus?
I don't understand what you're saying, I'm sorry.
You said that you had hoped that somebody from the township would meet with you, whether it would be the mayor or the administrator. I spoke with Mayor Klaus, and he told me that he did meet with you. He did speak with you.
The mayor?
Yes.
But we were supposed to have another talk because we never got it completed. But then the last second he called and said, oh, I forgot I had a doctor's appointment.
So I also called Tish.
Yes, we
Right.
did
so-
not really have a, you know.
Okay, so it was my understanding that he did speak with you, and I also had a
Donna told us,
conversation with...
but I didn't feel like she
Tish.
has the authority to tell us anything. It would be up to you guys.
Oh, she does. She's been delegated that authority.
Not my opinion.
Okay.
I
That
mean,
is your
I have
opinion.
to listen to somebody in charge, not some
Again.
part-time worker.
I respect your opinion, but Donna Casey has been delegated the authority to manage the
But she
recreation
won't get-
center.
She needs 1 foot of the closet, 1 foot
Okay.
of a 10-foot closet. We need the whole thing because we have a lot of stuff. And also, in my opinion, when I called you and left a message and my phone number and asked, would you please call me back? You didn't. Well, yesterday, I paid my taxes, and that means that I'm paying your wages and your wages. So the least you could do is call me back when I call and ask for you to call me back. I know that's just my opinion. But I think any person that pays taxes here should expect that much from you. Also, many years ago, Creekview came into Hainesport Township. You gave them 550 feet by half mile of commercial property. You gave them a whole lot of stuff. In the process, they gave the township 11 acres to do whatever, maybe for a school or something like that. I thought it was down, I know it went to 7 at one time, and then 3, the last time I heard, but now, yesterday, when I checked on it, it's down to 2 acres. I was just thinking that it was possible that being there's like 65% of the houses on the south side of 38, that maybe you might put a firehouse auxiliary on that 2 acres so that they can get to the houses and to the people quicker, rather than just let it sit there and then somebody say, oh, we could put a couple houses on it. We have enough houses. And I hate to see it just disappear. It's down to 2 acres. It doesn't need to get any lower than that without using it for something for the township, which is what it was supposed to be for. Just a suggestion that you might look into that.
Do you know, I don't know which property you're talking about, Kitty.
Pardon?
I'm not sure which property you're talking about.
You said Creekview, that there was
It's
acreage on 38, is it? Is that?
If you know where Bancroft is, Bancroft comes off of 38 where you would turn onto Lenox. If you, instead of turning onto Lenox, if you look this way, it's right there, 2 acres. It goes from before it would be a crossroad down a lot further on the other side, but just a
Where
little
that
bit on this
tot lot
side,
is?
and a little more on that.
Across the street from the little playground there?
Where the tot
Pardon?
lot,
Across the street from the little tot lot? is
At the
what-
crossroads of Lenox and Bancroft.
I think that's where it is.
I have a tax map right here.
There's a little-
If you'd like-
it's
on the
the
east-
area that
on the
the
east
tot
side.
lot is on?
Across the street
Across.
from it, right.
Right.
Where the,
I
Where it
think
would
that
be a
would be the
crossroad
east
if
side
you wanna
of
cross.
Bancroft,
The area
heading
in
towards
front
Mount
of
Holly.
the Diamantis property. Senior housing?
Yeah.
that's it for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kitty. I'm not familiar with the shrinking
into it.
acreage there, yeah. Would you please, Paul? Yeah.
She may be speaking about the open space, there's about an acre of open space, but that may have been dedicated as open space. It might be on our Rossi and not be able to be buildable. So I'll look into it. I think I know what you're talking about. I'll talk to you afterwards.
Thank you, Kitty. Any other general comments? No.
Hello, my name is Karen Torty, and I live at 4 Easton Way. First, a thriving community consists of a healthy mixture of residences and businesses. I consider this to be a well-considered plan advocated by our past committees and professionals, as it has helped provide a stable tax rate and a debt-free position. I think that it is important to continue welcoming businesses of all types and sizes to Hainesport. Last month, it was my great pleasure to participate in welcoming Jersey Mike's Subs to our town, and I encourage all of our residents, when ready to make a purchase, to think of our Hainesport businesses first. Second, May is a very busy month where we honor many organizations, including our military, teachers, and nurses. And I would like to recognize and thank all of our teachers, especially at Hainesport Elementary School and RV, for providing excellence in education. As a second grade CCD teacher, I am very proud of and would like to congratulate my 12 students who made their first Holy Communion this past Saturday. It was a special day for them, and they looked like angels in their suits and white dresses. I would have liked to post pictures for them, but of course, being respectful of their safety and privacy, I chose not to post any pictures, so I just wanted to recognize them now. And I'd like to say thank you to our local nurses who keep us well cared for whenever we need medical attention. And thank you to our brave service members who enlist to keep us safe. They continue to honor our country, and we appreciate them. We also salute all those who have served and their families who have lost loved ones. My husband and I come from families who served in World War II and other wars. Both of our fathers served, as well as several uncles, including one who died on the beaches of Normandy. Finally, I'm looking forward to Hainesport Wellness Day coming up on June 3rd. Donna Casey and the Township Committee have been very busy working hard to provide many fun and educational activities. I will be there to help and support in any way that I can, and I look forward to meeting more residents. A note of importance, as posted many times on Facebook, Jefferson Health will be in attendance with their mobile cancer screening van, offering mammograms to anyone over 40 years of age who has not received one in the past year. However, there will only be 16 slots available, so you are encouraged to make an appointment in advance. You may call Vanessa Jackson of Jefferson Health to make an appointment or for more information at 609-828-6490. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Once, twice, so moved. Anyone online? Care to make a comment? You have to unmute your computer? No? Okay. Motion to close? Public?
Motion to close the public session?
Second?
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Move to comments from the administrator. Paul, you're very active tonight.
No, it's good.
Good stuff.
It is good stuff. So I have a few things to report to the governing body. We received an offer from Burlington County Burlington County Bridge Commission for a tree giveaway program. So they're offering 10 trees to willing recipients. I did confer with our municipal planner. Our thought was to add to our municipal park tree program. And I did take the liberty of submitting for 10 trees. Of course, it can be adjusted, but we had a listing of trees that we could ask for. I deduced the ones that we already have here, and I put in for 4 crepe myrtles, 2 eastern red cedars, 2 heritage birch, and 2 river birch.
Do we know how large they are?
I mean, are they saplings or are they?
The more that they are,
That they normally are?
First of all, very cool, thank you, and thanks for going.
I don't have the
Yeah.
the size.
Just curious.
Curious.
Yeah.
I know.
It doesn't mean we still don't want them, but.
I know.
They'll grow.
I would like a 10-inch caliber tree. That
You could
wide.
go to a local,
That's right. Take it from here.
What a big
do
bush.
not do that. That would be a first.
Okay.
So, good news, outdoor program. It's not often that we get a local business that thanks us for the opportunity to perform work, but I did receive an email today, and I felt it was notable because it gives kudos to our Public Works foreman, Joe Crane. It's from France, and as many know, they've been doing work at the street center. We have had some capital improvements done already. The new carpet was put in last year. They put in new windows, and France just put in a brand-new front door. So they sent an email wanting to thank Hainesport Township for the opportunity to perform work on the Township Community Center. They appreciate the professional interactions with Mr. Crane of Public Works, and of course, the expedition payment from our CFO, Ms. Gorman. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. I did meet with Public Management Institute, Don Huber, this past Friday to get a status update on the fire and EMS study. I'm happy to say that the 102-page report is 90% complete. He does expect it to be finished by the end of this month. I do expect us to meet internally over the next 2 months thereafter. I will give all of you the confidential document to review, the draft version, to review, to digest, and then we can convene and have an internal discussion on the report and the findings, and he will participate in that closed session meeting.
Would there be an executive summary to that 102-page report?
I don't know.
Just saying.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll do a Cliff Notes version, but we'll have plenty of time to
Review it.
We'll dedicate a month or so to absorbing it.
Obviously, it's important. Thank you for that.
Sure. So last week, somebody wanted to know who our recreation coordinator is, Donna Casey. I just wanted to share with the community who Donna Casey is. She is a resident of Hainesport lifelong. She's been involved in the recreation programs for many, many, many years. She stepped up about 4 years ago when Paula Tiver stepped down from her recreation responsibilities as she became our tax collector. So Donna Casey is a very, very part-time employee of Hainesport Township. However, Donna Casey works at least 15 hours a week here. She's here every day. So that's probably about 780 to 800 hours a year that she's here doing administrative stuff, coordinating, talking to people. And And then that doesn't count the actual events that she directs, coordinates, and attends to. I'm going to give that another 100 hours. So Donna Casey probably works about 900 hours a year for a $6,417 salary.
What was that number, sorry?
$6,417. So that comes out to about $7 an hour Donna Casey works here for. Donna Casey runs probably 40 to 50 programs. She has been appropriately delegated responsibilities by administration to manage a recreation center because she runs a lot of programs out of that center, which not just recreation programs utilize. There are a lot of other programs or other entities that utilize that center who are vying for space. But Donna Casey's, the questioning of her responsibilities, honestly, and some of the comments, quite frankly, are above her pay grade. She doesn't deserve that. She works tirelessly here, her heart and soul. She's authentic in everything that she does, and she does a good job. And you know what? She's not motivated by that $7.29 an hour. She's motivated because she loves this town and she wants to do the right thing. And she has to weigh everybody's wants and needs. And sometimes there are people who don't get, and then there's sometimes the people that do. And that's a tough part of the job, but it has to be done to represent the best interest of all of the taxpayers of Hainesport, not just the ones that show up to meetings. So I think Donna Casey is a phenomenal employee and an asset to Hainesport, and we're very fortunate to have her. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.
Yeah.
So comments from our esteemed solicitor.
I appreciate that, but I'm not following that. No, thank you. I have nothing to add.
Okay, comments from the committee?
Anything, Anna?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was waiting to be invited to speak.
Yep, I was trying to figure out how we started this. I
It's
guess
usually me,
right,
it's usually me. As the most junior member of the committee, it's usually me. I wanted to say, if you haven't been to Jersey Mike's, you gotta go. I've been 3 times already, and it's only been here, what, a couple of months.
Weeks.
Chicken chipotle cheesesteak, yay. I also wanted to say that Earth Day was a tremendous success. I thought it all, and again, Donna Casey, hugely involved in that, all went off really well. There's my storytime buddy over there, Lorraine. We had some fun, didn't we, reading to those kids? So that was great. I also managed to go on a Creek Turn Park site walk, which was very exciting. Some of you will have seen the beautiful pictures that I put up on Facebook on that. Really looking forward to seeing a site plan for that in the coming weeks. Thank you very much for all the hard work on the budget, everybody. It looks very good. I'm very excited that we approved it. Means one thing checked off the list, right, everybody? And finally, I am very much looking forward to running Hainsport's inaugural 5K on June the 3rd, which is happening in the morning before Wellness Day starts. I believe some of the other committee members might be joining me. Is that correct?
I'll cheer you on.
Or cheering me on, which is also fine. All right, thanks all for coming and have a great night.
Okay, I guess I'm next here. So again, yeah, I also want to welcome Jersey Mike's Sub Shop, and I was there with a number of other people and did have a chance to take a couple subs back to my place of business where we all enjoyed them. They're great subs. Please support our local Hainesport businesses. It was great to see everybody participating in Earth Day. It was a lot of fun, and I also wanted to make a comment specifically thanking the volunteers, and I continue to make a plea for more volunteers as they are greatly needed. And in that respect, I also want to give a tip of my hat to Donna Casey, who I know works extremely hard with the smallest number of volunteers she could possibly have. I know personally because I'm there early in the morning and I help put up all the tables, and I'm there at night when I help put them all down at the end of the program, and she and her husband are giving more of their time basically for nothing other than the benefit of Hainesport. And she really deserves a big hand of applause. She's got mine. With regard to the budget, I say great job. We've been able to maintain the current level of services with no borrowing, no debt. Given that that appears to be the norm in the surrounding towns, ranging from approximately 10 million to 50 million. So I think we've done a great job, and that's before borrowing costs are added. I think our past committees and professionals have done an amazing job keeping Hainesport Township as affordable as possible for our residents, and I look forward to doing that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Leila?
Okay, so thank you all for coming tonight, and I want to remind you just of a couple of things coming up with regards to the yard sale that's on the 27th from 8 to 2 throughout the town. Memorial Day is celebrated here at the Township Building, Monday, the 29th at 9 a.m. A number of associations within the community will be laying wreaths, and our guest speaker is a local Hainesport veteran. Community Wellness Day is indeed June 3rd from 12 to 4. There's a lot of new vendors that are going to be here. We've added to the number of people in the medical field that will be here, so it's really growing nicely, and there's still fun and games and prizes and everything else that goes along with the day. So please download the app and get the most up-to-date news and information. I also want to thank Bob and Dawn for being here this evening.
Thank you.
And I am very grateful that we didn't have to use your expertise too much. The budget is straightforward, and the fact that we are debt-free is extremely exciting to everyone that I know of. One sad note, unfortunately, we lost a hometown hero this week. Bob Shin was a true public servant and a champion of the environment for all. And I, for one, am going to miss him. I can't.
Thank you, Leila.
Thank you.
So to follow up with that, Mayor Klaus, who's grew up in Hainesport here, has something he wanted me to read along those lines. Robert Shin Jr., who devoted 3 decades to public service in Burlington County and New Jersey as Hainesport mayor 50 years ago. Burlington County freeholder, now known as commissioner, a New Jersey Assembly member, and commissioner of the New Jersey Department of the EPA, appointed by Governor Christie Whitman, and a lifelong resident of Hainesport. So on May 5th, at the age of 85, he passed. Bob Shin Jr., and again, this is from Jerry. Bob Shin Jr. was a personal friend, a mentor, and a devoted Hainesport resident, and he will be missed. So I'm reading that on behalf of Jerry. There is something that was posted that I just wanted to read a few things and along the lines of what Leila said. He served as commissioner from 1977 until 1985. And during his tenure on the county board, Shin helped pioneer numerous programs and initiatives to protect Burlington County's natural landscape resources and thus quality of life. He was one of Burlington County's most impactful and influential leaders, said Burlington County Commissioner Director Felicia Hobson. The first farm preserved in New Jersey was in Burlington County because of Bob's vision and foresight. He was instrumental in the development of Burlington County Resource Recovery Complex, Burlington County's first of its kind regional recycling program, a true pioneer, and certainly one that we were looking forward to having him at our 100-year celebration. So we will miss you, Bob Shin Jr., and Godspeed to you and your family. Along those lines, Memorial Day, as Leila had mentioned, will be celebrated at 9 a.m., so hope to see you out here. We have a number of people coming and a number of speakers, and God bless our veterans and those still active. Also, you may have received in the mail from our postal workers and a bag that they are filling a bag with, please, this Saturday, put that bag out, fill it with healthy, non-perishable food. Postal workers do a great job in Hainesport, to our little Hainesport post office, and we appreciate that, so let's load them up. Community Day, June 3rd, we've already mentioned that. Unfortunately, due to an accident I had, I think I talked to you about this, yeah, it's going to prevent me from running, unfortunately, because I was trying to push you all on to try to participate, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to. I actually got hit by a car. Not my car, but me. So I'm just got to be careful doing any type of running. I'm fine, obviously, but kind of crazy. So Community Day and Wellness Day, please plan on being here. If you can't make it to the run in the morning, come at noon until 4 in the afternoon. I would also like to thank Bob and Dawn for coming here and your support and the work, and Paula and your whole committee for just a great, great job on the budget. We've been able to use grants, we've been able to use surplus, we've been able to use just some great fiscal management and prudence to only have a 2.2 tax increase here in Hainesport. Again, the other entities for which we collect probably won't be anywhere near that. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to pay more on your taxes, but at least as a committee here and as the administrator and the people that work here, doing the best we can to keep a line on that. The Recreation Department here, kind of crazy to call it a department, when I first started serving here 2.5 years ago, I just couldn't believe that she wasn't really, I mean, Donna Casey is paid $6,000 some odd dollars. I was like, just couldn't believe it, because it seems like she was always here. I thought I heard you say somewhere between 40 and 50 programs. And anyone that has children here knows about the Recreation Department and the various programs we have, from the Easter Bunny and the number of just the tree lighting, just all those things that she organizes and coordinates. I just couldn't believe that that's what it was. I'm going to have to think about some way we can do something about that, because it's just crazy. And again, it is so difficult to please everyone. It really is. It's hard. Certainly, we want to return calls. Certainly, we want to respond. Certainly, we do. It's difficult to do it in what some people would consider a timely basis. I know that our people here try to do that and try to get back. So I thank you for your patience and your understanding with those things. Other than that, I guess that is,
One thing maybe you could, because Donna's also collecting pictures.
yes, okay, yes. So for Memorial Day, Donna Casey's coordinating us with the Recreation Department. You'll see when you walk out the door to the left, there are some bins. There's collection for the veterans for Memorial Day, so please do that. So that'll be through the entire month of May, and hopefully we can present that on our Memorial Day celebration on that last Monday in May. And I think, other than that, I think I've hit all the things that I wanted to cover. Other than that, I am also excited about the Creek Turn. It's an international connection. I'm going to give a little hint there that we'll have with our little town of Hainesport. So it's really cool, and we're excited about that. So other than that, I guess we need a motion to close this, because we will have to open for executive session.
No, you just need a motion to pay the bills.
Oh, we have to pay the bills.
No, we're good.
Sergeant Antonucci have anything?
Oh, Sergeant Antonucci, I am so sorry. Forgive me. How could I?
Because he's coming to everything.
Yes, he is coming to everything. Yes, indeed.
In person?
And in person and in force, no pun intended. Is there anything you'd like to add or tell us? I'm sorry, it's not on the paper here, so I just,
No, I have
yeah.
nothing to
Yes.
At the birthday, we'll be here for
Memorial Day?
and Community Day as well.
In force.
And,
In force.
The horses are coming, the helicopters
Yeah, the
coming.
helicopters, everything's set up as of right now.
Yeah.
We have everybody coming, depending on if something happens, then somebody might.
God
not be able to
forbid.
come, But hopefully, everybody will be able to come right now.
And to clarify that, that's for Community Day.
Yeah, the canine
Yes.
unit's coming, the
Canine
marine
units,
unit,
right.
We
the,
have aviation, Marine Bureau, the dog, the horses, everybody.
Wow.
Oh, Hainesport Township, we're a little town, but we are mighty. And that's just goes to all the volunteers that we have and the people who are participating and those that are in uniform that continue to help us out. So,
Yeah, and
Thank
I
you,
would
Drew.
like to say that anybody that wants to volunteer for any of these recreational activities, please call Hainesport and ask for Donna Casey at the Recreation Department. We can use all the help we can get.
or leave a message or an email. Okay. All right, so now we got to pay some bills. So we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes. Thank you. We do need executive session?
Yeah, 15 minutes, half hour max.
Okay.
On a pending lawsuit.
And official action?
Probably just instructions to me.
Okay. All right. So 15 minutes, so we need to close this out?
We need to make a
A
resolution.
motion, yeah, you don't have to do anything other than adopt the resolution 74-5. Right.
That would be an executive session? Right, okay. Your motion to close this?
Yeah,
Motion for
I have one
executive
comment to make, and I just want to say you've done a great job today.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right,
Big
so-
shoes to fill when the mayor's not here, so.
I make a motion to close this session.
A motion to enter the executive
No,
session.
we have to close and then we have to enter, right? Or do-
Close.
Yes.
We just enter?
Just adopt the resolution, that gets us in there.
Okay.
Right.
Key.
Make a motion to open the executive session.
Do I have a second? Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
You had to do that, didn't you?
I put it up here so I wouldn't forget. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
What I forgot to mention, what a great job Public Works did.
Oh, see? I'm